Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Ellis, and this is Lesson 4 in Analogy Problem Solving, using parts of speech and context clues to solve analogies. Let's look at our first problem today. Here's the analogy. Smoke is to toxic as water is to pure, snake is to poisonous, blade of grass is to wispy, cloud is to gray, and shell is to hollow. Right now we're going to focus on parts of speech. Specifically, smoke is a noun, and toxic is a common adjective used to describe that noun. You're not going to use this information very well to solve this puzzle, as we'll look at and see, but it is important to note as we go forward in our problem solving. So, thinking about smoke being a noun and toxic a common adjective used to describe the noun, we now are going to think blank is a noun and blank is a common adjective used to describe that noun. Well, looking at these, we can see we have a whole bunch of nouns here. And in the case of all these adjectives, they each describe their noun pretty well. So it didn't help us this time to solve our analogy, but it is worth noticing that there is going to be the same relationship in our first word pair as our second when we're talking about parts of speech. If your first word is a noun, your second word is an adjective, then over here you should have a noun and an adjective. So how do we solve this particular analogy? Well, we are looking for a noun and then an adjective that describes it, and we have 5 choices here. So what we need to ask ourselves is, which is the best choice? And thinking about the specifics of smoke being toxic. Toxic means dangerous, poisonous, not good for you. We want to try to mimic that relationship as best we can with our second word choice. And indeed, one of them has the exact word poisonous in it. This is our best choice. B, snake is poisonous. Let's go on now. We're going to see that part of speech trick is really going to help us on this one. This analogy reads, short is to height as light is to blank. Well, this is pretty tricky because I'm looking at this word light and I'm wondering, is this the kind of light that might come from a lamp or the sun? Or is this the kind of light that means not heavy or something else? This is where parts of speech can really help you to solve your puzzles well. Thinking about the word short and height, what part of speech are each of these words? Short is an adjective that can describe the noun height. So now we know that light is an adjective that can describe the noun blank. Now we know we're talking about light as an adjective. In other words, a describing word. Well, which of these might light describe? It doesn't describe dark. In fact, that's an opposite or an antonym right there. Light can describe weight, if someone is lightweight. It doesn't describe the word heavy. That's another antonym in a different way. The different use of the word dark and heavy are both antonyms for the word light. Light does not describe the word little, and it does not describe the noun bright. Remember, we're looking for a noun because height is a noun. This is an adjective. There is really only one noun in all of our options here. Dark, heavy, little, and bright were all adjectives. Weight was our only noun. So short helped us to know which version of light to use, the adjective, and height being a noun helped us to find our only noun option here. So sometimes when you're stuck on an analogy, figuring out the parts of speech can be a really helpful tool in solving it. Let's look at this one. Now we have hop is to rabbit as lumber is to blank. Well, this word lumber is tricky for me because I know it has 2 very different meanings. One of them is pieces of wood and the other is to move in a slow, clumsy manner. Which one should this one mean? Looking over all of this, I can use the context clues of the other words to help me decide. Let's go ahead and figure out a sentence using these words left to right first. To hop is a common way for a rabbit to move. Well, thinking about that really does help me to decide which of my definitions lumber is. To hop is a verb. It's a way of moving. Then I probably want this to be to lumber as well, a way of moving that's slow and lazy and cumbersome. So, if to hop is a common way for a rabbit to move, we're looking for to lumber is a common way for a blank to move. And looking at our animal choices here, there's only one animal that is known for moving in a slow, clumsy manner, and that would be C. A bear. And one final problem for today. Let's look at this one. Visit is to conclude as invitation is to send, movie is to watch, book is to finish, voyage is to begin, or journey is to depart. Wow, this could be either a verb or a noun. I'm not sure which part of speech that is. Conclude, that's a verb. I know that one's a verb for sure, to conclude. But this could be a visit, or it could mean to visit. Which one is it? And this is where looking at the context of the rest of the problem helps me a lot. I'm looking at my word that goes here, which is going to be the same part of speech as this one, and I'm looking at the options that are being given to me. Invitation, movie, book, voyage, and journey. Those are all nouns. So that tells me that this is a noun. This is a visit, not to visit. Specifically, here's my sentence that I've made. When a visit is over, it will conclude. So, when a blank is over, it will blank. When an invitation is over, it will send. That doesn't quite work. When a movie is over, it will watch. Also does not work. When a book is over, it will finish. Ooh, that sounds good. Let's keep checking because we always want to make sure our best choice is the one we're picking. When a voyage is over, it will begin. That doesn't work because that's the start, not the end. When a journey is over, it will depart. That also does not work. So, our choice here is letter C. Book is to finish. So remember, think about parts of speech. Look at the other options that are given to you for context clues when you're working on solving your analogies.